Welcome to Gray Overload. I'm Anthony, and with AMD's latest driver release, my OnePlus 6T's update status, as well as stuff we've been realizing over the last couple of years, let's talk about software updates and quality control. AMD just had a release of their Adrenalin software drivers, the 2020 edition, and it had quite a bit of bugs. And this just spurred me to create a video about this, not because AMD is the only culprit. It's just the one that finally got me irritated enough to actually put a video out, because software bugs and quality controls is just something that companies really need to focus on. I see a computer and software as the ability to help a user get their creativity. It's something that the computer and software should fade away into the background so you are able to use the computer to your creativity. And that be gaming or whatever else. If you have to mess around with drivers, you can't be able to get stuff done or be creative in your own way, right? For me, a game is a great way for me to relax. And if I have to deal with a whole bunch of driver updates, that's annoying. For me, I build software for a living. I actually work on a lot of getting software quality, assurance done, making sure that their tests are in place, that things are not broken. And this sort of thing needs to be taken care of. And it's just one thing that mind boggles me is that companies have been moving further and further away from it and forcing that onto their users rather than taking the initiative to get it done. It is an extra expense. It is something that needs to have focus, and it's something that you should not ignore as a company. AMD is the latest thing of it. They changed the UI and they introduced new features, but they broke old functionality, which is something you shouldn't do, especially with just changing a new UI layout. That should be fully tested overall. And it's very disappointing to see companies do this. I mean, you have OnePlus, my phone, sitting over there, but OnePlus, the 6T was supposed to get security updates every 2 months. Okay, I'm waiting on them. 4 months. It's been 4 months. They said they'll get out Android 10. They pulled the first one for the 6T. Now the second one's out. I think it's pulled because it's been, gosh, over 2 weeks. I think maybe even longer, without me receiving the update. So either you got to explain how your rollout's working, and that it's going to be one phone a day, or you have to explain that you pulled the update. You cannot just sit still. Microsoft, look at Windows 10 and how buggy it's been overall. I mean, I think if you stay center of the line and just do one thing, you can be great. It can be great. But if you go on peripherals and you get a whole bunch of bugs, that's where users are going to get frustrated, because there's going to be advanced users, there's going to be users that just like to do unique things, and those can expose bugs. We have AMD. I have a friend. He hasn't had any issues with the new driver. He's only been playing one game though, so who knows if he's really ran into any issues, or any issues are there, because you're only playing one game, right? And that's the worrisome part. If you only test path certain cases, that can get kind of hairy really fast. And especially with drivers or OSs, you want to make sure that they are stable enough to do. That's why I didn't really like when Microsoft got rid of their testers and put it all on the developers. As a developer, I think that developers should write tests. But the whole aspect of it was, were we going to be just writing the test, or how much time to spend on it? It's a time shift, and it's something you actually have to focus on with the developer. So that way we can kind of go through and make our way towards a better product. And some of the things that I see that companies are kind of going in the right direction right now is with Microsoft. The fast ring, if you're a Windows insider with Microsoft, you can go through, and that's just the fast ring. And that's going to be pre-release only now. They just switched this, so we'll see if it actually comes to fruition as a good idea. But how I see this is that fast ring is going to be great for those that want to be able to test out features and always be in pre-release software. That slow rolling and pre-release, it sounds like they're going to be more version to Microsoft based upon my understanding. So like you're going to get the actual version of Windows that's coming out next if you're in slower pre-release, rather than the fast ring that's just going to always be the cutting edge. And this can be great. If you're willing to test, this is going to be great for Microsoft to put details on, to put feedback on, and to fix bugs. However, it's not a excuse not to test. And betas are another thing. Betas are another good way to get out in front of your software release and say, here's what we can do, here's what we can release, and can you please test this so we can see how it works, right? Testing is always going to need to be done, and it's either going to come from the company itself or the users using the software. And as a user of software, I like to see it from the company itself, because then it leaves the user less frustrated and less wandering around. I mean, how many people want to go around and be like, I'm going to be testing your software all the time as you release it, you just have to update it just as fast. That's a whole other thing. Like, how soon should they actually release the software afterwards? If there's a huge hotfix, AMD took 7 days, they just got a hotfix out today, and that is an improvement overall, so that we can be able to move in the right direction. Now, one thing that I want to do is that where I see this going is, I have no problem submitting bugs, right? I like to actually submit bugs and help out companies where they're going. You know, I write software myself. I understand bugs get in there. So how do we fix these bugs, and how do we move forward with them? And they need to be communicated with. So let's say I were to find a bug, or somebody else were, or let's say multiple people do. That needs to go in known issues, right? In the release notes of that release, just keep editing and adding in known issues. That way, when people can go there and see the known issues. If you have a workaround, list the workaround, so that users don't get stuck and are searching halfway across the internet, spending hours and hours of their time when all they could do is look up your release notes, see that you had added a known issue, put an update on top, and go through and say, okay, this is how you work around it, or we will have it updated. We're shooting for this version. I'm perfectly fine with that. Don't worry about it. At least I know you're knowing about it, and that you're and you're trying to actually get a solution some way or form. And if you can't reproduce a bug, get back in contact with that person that submitted it. If I put my contact information, which I do, I fully test the bugs. If I find them, I'm able to reproduce them. I put the reproducible steps, and then I send them off. Usually with my contact information, because I usually have here's your email or whatever else. If you can't reproduce it, email me back. Like, I'm willing to go through it again, retest it, and shoot it and send it back. Who knows? It could have been another update of something else that fixed it. But if you're not willing to go through that extra step and contact back, when you ask for the email, what's the purpose of it? So, and communication is key for all releases. Make sure that everyone's communicated up on a good level, so that we can go through as users and see where your software's at. If it's buggy or whatever, okay, let's work on fixing it. Let's not, leave off all the known issues, and then a whole bunch of people are asking around the web saying, is this really an issue for you? Because that creates uncertainty, and that's not a good thing either, because if you create uncertainty and you don't really commit to actually communicating back, people start looking at different products. Right? I like it when somebody says, oh yeah, this needs to be fixed and everything else, because then I know, okay, they actually have put effort into the product, and they know where they need to go, where to improve at. If they're just ignoring everything, do they really want to improve the product, or are they just trying to scapegoat and get around everything to get, so that they can just gain more money and not actually support their users? Well, if they don't want to support their users, then why do we even have users? So that's some of my thoughts that need to be addressed. If you need to pull an update, pull an update. There's no reason just to keep it out there and have users cause more and more issues. Pull it back a week, get some things fixed, and re-release it, right? Don't sit for a month and we release it in a month. No. Your dev cycle better be good enough that if you have bugs that are showstoppers, you can go in and fix them within a week or less. So companies, reach out to me if you feel like you want somebody to go through and just talk to about the whole quality testing side of things. I'm more than willing to do that. I'm a software developer. I work on testing a good chunk of my time as a software developer as well, and just creating testing plans and testing and implementing them, so that I make sure when I release software that they are not going to hit a roadblock on just some user stuff. So with that, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for the last video and the support in the last video. It was awesome. I am very humbled by it. I'm just so appreciative of you guys and be able to help this channel grow. I do want to say thank you for spending time and just waiting on these videos. I'm trying to get up to be 2 a week again. Going back and forth to the hospital quite a bit here in the last couple weeks has just blown all my schedules and everything else. So I do hope to get some more videos out to you soon. And I do want to say God bless, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.